I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, August the 26th, brought to you in part by Performance Livestock Analytics. Manage your feedlot anywhere, anytime with Performance Beef. A shallow bottom. We were afraid we were going off the deep end to start the week out, but shoot, we just barely got into the week and we seem like we've already found a bottom on our futures markets. They're finding some support here, and pretty good support, especially on your live cattle futures. Both your live cattle and your feeder cattle contracts are maturing here with the spot month, and so they're just trying to get kind of leveled up before the end of the month, and we're getting really late here. But you're going out, and there was actually both your next traded months were higher on feeder cattle and live cattle, so that's good that we didn't go off too far. And the analysts are saying that according to the reports, it doesn't look like we've seen a whole lot of hedging pressure as of yet, so guys are still kind of holding on to the market and thinking that we've got a little bit more upside to see. Your hogs are really supporting your live cattle contracts. Hogs have been oversold for a long time. It looks like they've got a lot of upside to go, and being a competing protein like that, they're kind of holding your cattle together. And if the hogs got a long ways to go, then cattle can kind of hold together and maybe gain some ground here too. And as goes your live cattle, so goes your feeder cattle contracts. But pretty interesting day, even though it was fairly quiet. But we've got some good quotes to give you as we go through the report here. But let's look at the board and start out here on Tuesday. Your August live cattle futures were down just 7 cents at 105.50, and that's getting real close to what your cash market is this week. That might be just a little bit under that. Looks like we're going to average somewhere between 105 to 106, maybe closer to 106, but 105 and a half, that is real close to maturation and meeting up with what your cash market's doing. And that's all we really ask of your live cattle futures from the CME. October was up 85 cents at 108.77. You're going out from there, and they were up 50 cents to up 87 cents. So not a whole lot of action out there. August feeder cattle are up a quarter, 142 and a quarter. That's real close to what your real-time index was to end the day on Tuesday, so it's kind of coming together too. September up 22 cents at 143.07. You're going out from there, and it was very quiet in your feeder cattle pits, down 10 cents to up a quarter on your out fronts on feeder cattle. Your corn did jump on Tuesday, and we're getting so close to plucking that corn. I tell you what, it's like watching a pot boil, and guys are really nervous about the weather or anything that might happen at all. They did have an explosion in a facility in Iowa there. That likely had something to do with that knee-jerk reaction there, but December new crop corn was up 9.5 cents at 354.5, and I tell you what, that was a big jump. That's as big a jump as they got out of all that weather damage that we saw here a couple of weeks ago out there through the middle part of Iowa. But your fat cattle trade continued on Tuesday. We saw some early trade on Monday, even though USDA missed it altogether. But we saw quite a bit of trade in Texas at 105. We saw some more of that. We saw our other areas start to come in. But the northern feedlot areas up there in the Corn Belt, the Midwest, Iowa and Nebraska, they don't have nearly as many market-ready cattle as your Southern Plains does. And Kansas is fairly current. Now, Texas not, but we're starting to see a lot of trade in Texas this week, so likely they're kind of clearing them up, and then we're going to be in a fairly current situation, albeit at heavier weights. And we saw in your cattle on feed report that we have a lot of cattle that's been on feed for over 150 days, but still your head counts are fairly current, and maybe your weights are backed up a little bit, but it's still looking like we can hold things together, if not gain a little bit of ground here as we go forward if the board holds together. And we're looking at a spot futures here at October that's going to be almost 109, so we ought to be able to get to that if we don't see a whole lot more hedging pressure here over the next several trading sessions. Iowa had a few confirmed sales. 105 and 168. That's a pinch lower than the best they had last week, but still haven't got that market really established yet in the northern plains. Nebraska had one string of steers there that brought 107. That's in there pretty tight with what the bulk of their cattle brought last week. Kansas, 4,200 head confirmed on Tuesday from 104 to 107, and it was all through there. A lot of 106. But still from 104 all the way to 107. Texas 105 again on 6,300 head confirmed on Tuesday, and that's what they gathered up. There's likely more than that. They've already got 13,400 head for the week in Texas through Tuesday. So you think that's not the place to go get cattle that are ready and they're cleaning a lot of those up? That's the best thing that could happen for the market. And that 105 is $1 lower than last week, but it's not terrible. Box beef cutout values continue to surge, and it's unbelievable how much control your packers have on the sale price of their product, wholesale. They set those prices, guys. It's a menu. Those buyers for their wholesale product, they look at it and they take so much volume at whatever price, and they can set those prices anywhere they want. We noticed last week that the sales volume did back up a little bit, and it likely will this week too, but we're getting right up to the apex here of this little rally, and then as we get probably by the end of this week, it's going to be too late to order any product for Labor Day weekend, so then we're going to start going on the downside. But man, they're trying to get all they can out of it and just trying to establish those cutout values way up there at the risk of not moving a lot of product. But choice cuts 229.68 up 221 for the day. Now you guys are used to those huge movements that we saw, during as we come back from the COVID and got the plants back going. 221, well, historically is a huge movement for one day, and we've seen these choice cuts go up almost $30 in the last 3 weeks. It's unbelievable. Select product Tuesday afternoon 212.26. up $1.01, and they've gained a lot of ground also. Your slaughter is plugging right along here, 235,000 through Tuesday. That's 3,000 more than last week at this time and 1,000 less than the same week a year ago. And you think, well, we were down a big plant this time a year ago because we just had that fire out in Holcomb, Kansas. You remember how the other plants just turned the chains up just a little bit faster, and we started having more slaughter after the Holcomb plant fire because they had cranked those cutout values about $22 a hundred there in just a little over a week. So that's how come our slaughter was so big a year ago this time, with 6,500 head a day plant down. But let's look at something that's going on in your feeder cattle markets. I try to talk about all the big videos. Sometimes I miss one here or there. Northern Livestock Video, based out of Billings, Montana, and the Goggins family there. I tell you what, they have got a heck of a video, and they have for many years. And they've got a big one going on here, early fall sale there. And boy, talk about the program cattle on the videos. Wow. And it continued. This may be the biggest sale we've seen anywhere, but on Northern Livestock Video there on Tuesday, the coffee cattle out of Forsyth, Montana, 1,100 yearling steers there. They're all home raised. That coffee herd has been a closed herd since 1950. So they know what they're going to get there. These cattle, these yearling steers are all natural, NHTC, GAP 1 certified. So I've told you before, these program cattle, it's not a big deal on ball and calves, but you've got big yearlings. These yearlings have a base weight of 970 pounds. They're all natural, NHTC and GAP 1 certified. I tell you what, that you've really done something there, and you need to be able to hit a home run on them, and by gosh, they sure did. 1,100 head of them to weigh 970, mid-September there, 169.50. Wow. Let's talk about your brick and mortar sales there on Tuesday. Real-time index on DV auction late in the day on Tuesday at 142.44. That was down just 11 cents. So markets are kind of holding together here. That's on the 7-day moving average, guys. That's not just from the previous day, but our steer tracker was up there a lot better than it was late on Monday. And I think your buyers on Tuesday were encouraged that the board didn't continue to fall out of bed or anything, and they kind of went right back to business as usual. And then we had some sales in the Midwest, some northern type cattle sales there that were really helped by your farmer feeders that are still trying to buy some cattle up here before they get too busy with harvest. But look at some of these big sales. Fredonia, Kansas, they had a big anniversary sale there, 2,300 head for them. Pretty darn good run. Look at your best tested weights. You know, they were sure $6 to $9 higher, with the exception of 9-weight steers, and we've seen those fall off as we think that we're kind of starting to top out a little bit here on our fat cattle. But your best tested weights, most of them on your feeder cattle, $6 to $9 higher, as much as $12 higher on your 7-weight steers, which would either be lightweight yearlings with a lot of goat to them, or more likely some long time weaned fall-born calves there that the guys up north really like to buy because they can really put that corn away. But look at your biggest tested weight groups there. 446 steers in that 7-weight category, average 731 pounds, 151.62. That's more than $12 higher than the weighted average from the previous week on a pretty good run there in Fredonia, Kansas. How about the heifers? 311 head of the 6-weight heifers averaged 661 at 140.58, and that would sure be $7 higher than last week. You don't see those reports by a third party anywhere out of Fredonia, but you get it right here on the feeder flash every week pretty much. The stick out sale that I saw out of Brad Hahn's sale there was 54 head, 571 pound steers, bring 175.75. Now that's a top-notch sale that we've seen anywhere on 5-weight steers so far this late summer, early fall. How about Denny Rezac Livestock Commission, St. Mary's, Kansas? And I want to wish Denny well. I've heard that he's been under the weather. I'm not sure if he caught the COVID or Rona or whatever you want to call it. I bet you $100 he beats it. But I know he's been active on social media, but he has been kind of down here as of late. But we're wishing Denny Rezac a quick recovery, and he had a heck of a good sale there on Tuesday in St. Mary's, Kansas, on about 1,650 head of cattle there. And his trend was more similar to the other high volume sales. It was just a regular sale there at Rezac's Livestock, and he has big sales this time of year every week, but steady to $4 lower, and that's kind of what we saw in all of our bigger sales there in that part of the country on Monday. But not as severe losses as we saw in some sales on Monday, but still, sure enough, lower. But look at some of your steer quotes here off the Denny Rezac Livestock Commission market report there. 662 head of 8-weight steers in St. Mary's, Kansas. They averaged 861 at 141.41. That was down about $4 on your best tested weight group, so that's sure a right quote there. How about 301 head of the 9-weight steers, averaged 934 at 132.07 on the weighted average price, and that was close to steady. How about Unionville Livestock Market? Kurt and Heather Spore Leader right there, they've got a heck of a good sale. And now today, they'll have their other sale up at Creston, Iowa. They're having a special up there, and they're going to have free lunch and everything to go with, and an awful good run there in Creston, Iowa. But at Unionville, Missouri, which is just south of the northern Missouri border there, they had an awful good sale in Unionville. Numerous loads that I pulled out of Cattle Market Central here, and I mean top quality cattle. They had several loads from the Rock and R outfit there from Lucerne. They had the Fleshman cattle there. They had the Teal cattle there. But the stick out deal on Tuesday in Unionville was 61 head of the Brinkley steers. That's the last one quoted there. Look at the bottom of your screen. 61 head Brinkley steers averaged 868 868, guys, at 149.85. How about the Lolly Brothers Livestock Market there in central Missouri? They've been a long-time broadcaster with DB Auction, and most notably their exotic sales that they have there, and they have good horse sales there at Lolly Brothers Livestock in Macon, Missouri. But they had an awful good run too. Look at these large bunches that we saw in Macon, Missouri at Lolly Brothers Livestock Market there on Tuesday. The stick-out deal I saw here was heifers. 57 heifers weighed 638 at 147.25. And then they had an anniversary sale in a sale barn I've never talked about before, but one of my contact buyers was there and he was telling me all about it, and I got on Cattle Market Central. Sure enough, we got quotes out of there. The anniversary sale there at Messina, Iowa, Messina Livestock Sales. How about 86 head of 742-pound steers, bring 153.75. And that's your feeder flash for Wednesday.